You're listening to On the Job with PORAC, hosted by PORAC President Brian Marvel and Vice President Ben Terrio. On the Job with PORAC is your go-to podcast for insights into the challenges and opportunities facing law enforcement professionals here in California and across the nation. Our goal is to provide an inside look at these issues from the perspective of officers who risk their lives to protect and serve their communities.
Welcome to another episode of On the Job with PORAC, the podcast where we dive into the issues that matter most to peace officers regarding legislation, public safety, benefits, advocacy, and the values that define our profession. I'm Brian Marvel, president of PORAC. In this episode, we're focusing on one of the most valuable ways PORAC continues to support its members after their badge comes off, the PORAC Retired Associate Membership Program, or RAM. RAM is a member-governed, mission-driven, built specifically for retired peace officers who want to stay connected, informed, and protected. It delivers continued legislative advocacy, access to resources, and a strong community while providing long-term stability in retirement. Today, we're honored to be joined by Chris Coulter, chairman of the PORAC Retired Associate Membership Program. He'll walk us through why staying connected matters, the key benefits of RAM provides, how it keeps retirees engaged in advocacy, and why every peace officer should consider remaining part of the PORAC family beyond their career. So now's the perfect time for members approaching retirement or already retired to fully understand and take advantage of this important program. Well, Chris, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Good morning.
Well, I think the first thing is just what is RAM? What do you guys do?
RAM is the Retired Associate Membership Program, and the key focus of it is the gateway into maintaining your connection with PORAC. Our function is to provide legislative access for many of the things. Recently, we had the Social Security Fairness Act. I'm sure you'll remember the significance of what that's done and brought Social Security parity and maintaining your retirement pension plan, as well as now being able to access the full benefits of Social Security. That's one of the key features, but also it allows you access into any one of the insurance and benefits programs that we offer, as well as the Legal Defense Fund for maintaining criminal and civil coverage when you have your HR 218 and are carrying.
So what is your job as a chairman?
Mine is to come and represent the members and come and provide input, as well as, we do carry a voting block within PORAC. We coordinate meetings. I'm working on actually developing a Facebook page as well as some other things to give more access, easier communication for all the RAM members so that they can still voice their opinions. And no retiree has ever had an opinion.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to carry some of those informational requests that they may have up to the leadership of PORAC and hopefully get action on some of the things.
Yeah, I think the RAM program is critical because, like you said, it really keeps the retirees connected to PORAC, the organization. The advocacy that we do on the statewide level in California, but also in D.C. And you mentioned H.R. 82, the Social Security Fairness Act, which, really was a long-term battle and required active and retired members to be engaged with their federal elected officials.
Absolutely.
And what's unique about our RAM is, and as you know this, a lot of our retirees don't stay in California, and they move to other states, which now gives us access to those elected officials as a constituent. And it was a huge battle, a long battle, but we ultimately won it and brought fairness back because if you're paying into Social Security 100%, you weren't getting 100% of your benefit back. You were being penalized, and even more so if you passed away and your spouse could almost lose 100% of the benefit that it was rightly deserved. So with that said, you talked about access to LDF.
Yes.
Access to IBT. Those are critical benefits that are offered to active and retired now and have been for a while. So if you are retiring and you want to keep your IBT, you have to sort of join RAM right away, right?
Correct. And that'll allow you to access. And as you said, for many of the people that do move out of state, the PORAC plan for the medical for out of state is a Cadillac plan.
Yes.
And it's priced competitively. It's really a wonderful plan. I know myself, I did move out of state, and I've been able to access tremendous medical care very easily. And whenever I go and reach out for a new doctor or any of the other stuff, immediately it's a call, well, what insurance do you have? And boom, man, I'm in. There's no more debate on whether they'll see me or not, based on the insurance plans we have. But one of the other things I think that you really mentioned, and locally as far as being involved in RAM and the legislative efforts, is I met the other day with a CHP counterpart of what I do. And he coordinates a lot of the retiree issues for the CHP. And it was a very good meeting, a wonderful guy. We're going to try and set something up to do this annually to coordinate this. But he brought up some of the issues that are even coming down the pipeline where California is legislatively trying to work to eliminate retirees' access to things like off-roster guns, extra capacity magazines, and basically take what was a guaranteed benefit that we had as far as our CCWs and whatnot and turn us into just unarmed, incapable of defending ourselves, even though we have a CCW. Yeah. And so I definitely appreciate the value of what we're able to work with legislatively to maintain the interests of the retirees, to stay armed properly, and not make us felons because, we've had these magazines, we've had these guns, and suddenly they're illegal.
The other issue, too, is there's been attempts at the statewide level to tax people that have received pensions in the state of California and they move to another state.
Right, the exit tax.
Yes.
Gotta love that.
Yes. So, I mean, those are the types of things that, as a RAM member, that, helps us understand and know why these are important issues because, obviously when you do a career as law enforcement and you finally retire and take the badge off and the weight that comes along with that, you still need to be connected with the active members because you've gone through the experiences, you have the knowledge, and you can say things that we necessarily can't say as active duty officers. And that's why sometimes we have to rely on the retirees to be our voice in certain circumstances. Obviously, the union leaderships are a little bit different because they do have protections in state. But there's a lot of things that the retirees could do for the local active members that an active officer may not or deputy may not be able to do.
Well, and exactly. We can walk into a city council meeting as a retiree and say some of the things that need to be said that a guy who's active duty would probably get looked at administratively for saying.
Yeah. I mean, and that's critical because, a lot of folks are like, well, I have my First Amendment right, and I can say it's like, well, you do to an extent.
Correct.
But as a retiree, you truly have 100% of your retirement.
Exactly. What are they going to do? They're going to give me days off?
Yeah.
No, I'm already living that.
Exactly. Well, you touched on a hot button topic, the CCW, firearms. A lot of peace officers are very active. Pro Second Amendment, PORAC's pro Second Amendment. We've been involved in a lot of Second Amendment issues. LDF. Talk about it all the time. It's probably one of the biggest reasons people join and to get that coverage on active duty. But even in retirement, LDF has a Plan 5 for retirees.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and accessing that. And you brought up CCW. That is a huge issue. We've had agencies try to withhold CCW privileges from retired officers.
Correct.
And there's a benefit that comes along with Plan 5.
That is correct. Plan 5 is providing criminal and civil coverage in the exact same manner that you had when you were an active duty guy. And what that means is that you're entitled to the critical incident response so that should you be sitting in the Starbucks minding your own business, you have to take action to defend yourself or another person. You can call the same active duty phone number that you would back when you were working. You'll get the same attorney that will show up and represent you at an at-scene investigation, at a station interview, through your criminal case if something is filed, and through a civil case if something is filed as well. That's all part of the benefit, and LDF pays for every component of that. They pay for the attorney, they pay for filing fees, they pay for paperwork, you name it, they cover it. It's also in all 50 states.
Yes.
So when a person retires, they go off to their, piece of heaven, and you'll get the same representation with attorneys everywhere. It's just a tremendous plan. One thing I do want to stress, though, is that the CCW is a limited capacity, meaning that it is for your personal defense. I think there's a misunderstanding that a lot of people think that it's the equivalent of a guard card.
Yeah.
And I can go do a job and still get covered under the LDF plan. That's not the way it works. If you are just being Brian as a retired guy, you're fully covered when you're sitting at Starbucks, in the movie theater, sitting in church, that type of thing. If you take it to the next level and become a guard, the same with your active duty coverage. You can't expect that LDF is going to cover you for a job that you have in that capacity.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
But also the CCW protection.
Correct. I missed that. What happens is you get tail coverage. So when you are an active duty member and then you retire, provided you sign up with the Plan 5, and if they deny you, you'll get representation to verify or to fight for the CCW. That is a legislated benefit.
Yes.
It's in the penal code that you're entitled to it.
And there can't be a break in service. You can have a small time because we understand when you retire and you start collecting your pension,
Correct.
There's time there. But you can't all of a sudden 7 months later be like, well, they're taking my CCW away and I need coverage.
Right.
It's like, well, you had 6 months. Where have you been?
Exactly.
And now that you need it, it's like crashing into a pole, calling your insurance company going, I need insurance for my car.
Right.
And here's the accident that just happened.
Exactly.
So, well, that's good to know because I think that's important. I'm not sure how many people carry off into retirement, but if there's the possibility of doing it, it's an incredibly inexpensive plan.
Absolutely.
It's with the largest legal defense fund, oldest, most reputable, tremendous amount of reserves, active duty cops running it. They're going to hear your appeals. I mean, we've already had an LDF podcast and why it's so important and why it's the best in the nation compared to some of the other TMO programs that are out there.
Well, and that's exactly it. I get a lot of calls from people that are asking for the LDF. And one of the things I think, and I'm sure you covered this, but that it's a trust account. And because it's a trust account and a federally recognized employee benefit program, it's universal across all 50 states.
Yeah.
You go and look at these other CCW plans, they're insurance plans. And the insurance plans are regulated by each individual state. Some states won't allow them because they don't want CCW coverage in any of these places. And yet we can exist even in the U.S. territories.
Yeah, and that's fantastic.
Yep.
So getting back to the core of RAM, what's the process for signing up? When do you recommend that they sign up or at least start the process?
Absolutely. So when you retire, I think everybody knows that, CalPERS moves at the speed of government, as well as any of the Act 37 programs. You could be 3-4 months, 4 is probably a stretch, but you could be 2 to 3 months of not receiving a benefit yet. Paperwork has to catch up, accounting has to go through, they have to make sure you get it. But as soon as you receive a benefit from your retirement system, that's the moment you should sign up. It is in our bylaws that you have to wait until you receive that benefit in order to go ahead and sign up. So once you retire, be planned, be ready, be thinking about it even before you retire, and get ready to join the RAM program because that will maintain consistency throughout your insurance or any of the other plans that you have.
Can you submit the application and then just let PORAC know when this is going to kick in, or do you have to wait until you physically get that first pension check?
It is. You can submit and get ready. Michelle, who works over here at the RAM office, she'll make sure that everything gets processed. She'll reach out if there's any questions, and she'll take care of it. And then there's always you can reach out to me to get things finalized. But it's a simple process. You go onto PORAC.org. You follow the retirees links and you'll be able to sign right up.
And we have one number, right? So if you had a phone number to call and had questions.
Absolutely. It's right there. It's the RAM hotline. And if you're going to ask me the actual digits, I can't remember my own home phone number.
That'll be on the show notes, but we'll definitely have that on there. But I got to tell you that number's been huge. You've been huge, taking over the role. The amount of calls I get as a president from retirees is almost nil now.
Glad to help.
Yeah, it's a tremendous workload because, like you said, retirees have a lot of time on their hands and they like to talk.
We do. We do. I usually wind up, we get the question answered in about 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it's fishing and RV trips and, what gun did you buy last week?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, when are you retiring? I go, you can't get here soon enough.
Yep.
And this is a great program. I really appreciate the folks that really created this program many, many years ago.
Absolutely. We owe a lot to them.
Yeah. And the RAM program is expanding. And, for a long time, when I first got up here as president, my goal was to get it to 10,000. We're already over that, because if you are, and that's one of the things we should talk about is it's not just open to California folks. It's a national program.
Yes.
So if you are a federal officer or another officer, actually, we should probably talk about the outside of California because it is a little bit different than inside.
It is.
If you're inside California, it's individual, right?
It's an individual membership program. And once you go outside of California or as a federally associated program,
Yep.
It falls back on the association as a group plan.
Right.
So in the case, I'll just pick Michigan. We have a tremendous amount of participation out of Michigan. We have the Michigan State Troopers. They can go ahead and sign up for these same benefits through their State Trooper Association.
Right.
And they can join the program. We also have a few federally affiliated groups that will allow members from some of the smaller federal agencies. Once upon a time, I ran into a NASA investigator, and I was really curious if they went up and investigated thefts out of the space station or something and how they handle that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what their beat is, but but they worked for the OIG. Office of Inspector General.
Yep.
And they would go and they're able to join now, so we can get them in a membership plan.
Yeah.
And we're working every day to try and get more and more of some of these groups aboard and continue to expand the program.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're getting close to retiring and you want to be part of this program, I just highly recommend it because just through the LDF fact of it, over 160,000 members and growing. All 50 states, U.S. territories, our insurance and benefits trust you have access to. I mean, it's just a tremendous program for folks that are retiring and going to get to enjoy the rest of their life and not carry the weight of the badge every day. So it's just good opportunity. I really want to thank you for the amount of work that you've done
thank you.
On continually improving the program. I always look at it as, you take over from somebody and your goal should be to raise the bar for the next person that comes in after you and, come up with innovative ideas. Obviously, some of the retirees probably retired many, many years ago, but now you're starting to deal with more technologically savvy retirees that have quite honestly, they've retired when the internet didn't exist, and now it does.
Yes, it's in every facet of our lives.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the fact that you can talk to other retired members, stay connected. You can come to our chapter meetings if you were with your local chapter meetings. You can go to symposium. You can go to conference. Still stay connected. We have our charity golf tournament. If you're a golfer. There's just a lot of things that are available to the RAM members and staying connected to PORAC as an organization. So we really appreciate everybody that does that.
Absolutely. And you brought up the technology. I'm working on a couple of things. I think there'll be some releases on those fairly soon.
Yes.
And we'll probably get them out there on the Facebook page once we get that up and running.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it'll be good and exciting.
Very nice. Well, again, I appreciate you for coming out, Chris. As we wrap up this important conversation, I want to thank our special guest, once again, Chris Coulter, chairman of the PORAC RAM Committee, for sharing his expertise and giving us such a clear picture of how RAM serves our retired members. We covered a lot today: the purpose and mission of the RAM program, why staying connected after retirement matters, the continued advocacy, which is critically important, and representation of retirees at the state level and the federal level, with key benefits and resources that keep officers informed and supported, and the strong sense of community it builds for the life after the job. To every PORAC member and association leader listening, especially those approaching retirement, if you're not already planning to stay engaged through RAM, now is the time to learn more and see how it can help you connect to the profession, the advocacy, and the benefits you've earned. So visit the PORAC website at porac.org or reach out to the RAM team directly to explore membership, get questions answered, or start the conversation about joining the Retired Associate Membership Program. This is a benefit built by active peace officers for peace officers and their families. It delivers real connection and continued value year after year, even in retirement. To every peace officer listening, thank you for what you do every day. Stay safe out there, take care of one another, and remember, we're all in this together.